Good evening, everyone.
The old bell, Ariel.
But I don't know, it's whatever. Good evening, everyone. You just find your seats. Thanks for coming to meet the candidates tonight. I get spot hosted by the Oneida Rotary Club. I'm Ariel, Baro. For those of you who do not know me, I think I know everybody in here almost. But I'm the current president, obviously librarian here, and city historian. Thanks for so tonight we're going to go by ward, supervisor, Oneida City judge, and mayor. Thank you for showing up and coming tonight. We really appreciate it. So you're going to get 5 minutes to give your little spiel. And then there's going to be questions immediately after, so people don't have to wait to the end, because I know for me, I will forget my question. So you're going to get 5 minutes, and then a couple of minutes for questions if you have any. And Dawn, this nice lady with her arm up, she's going to be the timekeeper. So watch her. She'll give you a 1 when you have a minute left. Yeah. Any questions? No? Wonderful. All right. So we're going to do Ward 1, Mrs. Lynn-McHugh.
Good evening, and thank you to the Oneida Rotary Club and the Oneida Library for hosting us tonight. I'm Lynn-McHugh, and I am running to represent Ward 1 on the Oneida Common Council. I'll keep my biography short. I grew up in Sherrill, raised by my mom, a retired teacher from the Oneida City School District. I attended the University of Rochester, and I have a master's degree from Springfield College in psychology. I returned to the area in 2006, where I met my husband, Andy, an Oneida graduate. Our daughter, Molly, attends Otto Shortell Middle School, and she's currently at drama club rehearsal. I maintain a private practice, but have worked in many corners of the mental health field over the last 23 years. While preparing for this evening, I reflected on how my motivation to run and serve has evolved since my first run in 2022. I ran because I wanted to be part of creating a community that we can all be proud of. I wanted to work together with people who might not agree and show people that we don't need to be paralyzed by divisiveness. I wanted to foster a narrative of growth, positivity, and moving forward together. My motivations have evolved as I've watched, learned, asked questions, and listened to people who have generously shared their years of experience serving this community. And I'm so very grateful for those conversations. Now I believe it's time to pass the torch to the next generation of leaders who can lead Oneida into the next chapter. Responsible leaders balance the community's wants and needs. I argue that proactive leadership is worth it when you compare the cost of prevention to the cost of destruction and repair. Inactive leadership is unacceptable. Proactively identifying infrastructure risks can ensure we protect the safety of our citizens and city workers. The past few years have brought increasingly destructive storms that have altered the lives for many residents. 100-year-old trees have fallen, our aging sewer system is not getting any younger, and unmaintained creeks and culverts are flooding. The 2020 sewage spill resulted in New York State DEC actions, including fines, and in order to upgrade our wastewater treatment plant. Upgrades should be done before the health, safety, and welfare of our community are impacted. We need to be able to prioritize and focus on projects that target our most vulnerable points. If elected, I would like to consider doing a watershed study and use this tool to make thoughtful and responsible plans for the future. Proactive leadership builds trust and security. Our existing city code needs to be kept up with and the needs of our evolving community. Council members should be willing to take the time and work together to determine what, if any, changes should be made, because our code is at the core of who we are as a city. New challenges require new tools, and I will support OPD to ensure they have what they need to keep our streets safe for both motorists and pedestrians. Unfortunately, we have lost good employees because of a hostile environment created by some council members, which has associated costs. Along with the decline in public trust for local government has come a sharp increase in FOIL requests, which takes employees' time away from tasks and responsibilities. If you elect people who know how to build relationships with others, this will save us time and money. I would like all elected officials, both incumbent and newly elected, to complete regular training on principles of good governance, ethics, and the duties and obligations of elected officials. Counselors should be taking initiative to educate themselves on key performance indicators for respective departments when evaluating budgetary requests, rather than subjectively deciding what they think is and isn't worth spending money on. This past January, Peter had suggested that the council start talking about next year's budget before the season. 1 minute left?
Yeah.
Oh, like 5 minutes. No?
No, it was more than that.
Oh, geez. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Okay, I guess I'll go. I believe revenue integrity is of utmost importance. It's hard to fill your financial bucket when there's a hole in the bottom. We have to consistently assess and evaluate our resources, leverage city-owned property, and collect all possible revenues. If we're paying auditors for assessments, we should probably be implementing those recommendations. We'd have to put requests for proposals in quickly as soon as these are identified to prevent unnecessary appreciation costs due to inaction. It's a great place to live. We get good value for what we pay. In Oneida, we have a dedicated 24/7, 365 police and fire department, a diverse network of parks and trails, an amazing library, and a park and rec department that offers a wide range of events for programs for adults and children. Okay, so I believe we can effectively fund vital programming while working together to maximize efficiency and maintain our current offerings. So we have good things happening, and we need to keep moving forward by cultivating good relationships, keeping a good attitude, and building up our city, not tearing it down. I hope to serve you well, to earn your trust, and would appreciate your support. Whew. All right. Woo! Thank you.
Any questions? That's okay if you don't have it.
Okay. I can answer them later too, if you have any.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes, John.
You said that your philosophy is evolved as you've met people. What are some of the more interesting things that you've met people and talked about?
Oh, and speaking with voters, well, I think voters are really concerned about integrity and trust and accountability. They don't want to have to micromanage what the city council's doing. They don't want to have to watch every single move that people are making. They want to be able to trust that people are making good decisions, operating within ethical standards, and just having a functional government. I think that dysfunction obviously derails us, and I think we can do better. I'm motivated. I will work hard. I will put the time in, and that is something I bring to the table, along with my communication skills as a therapist. Any other questions? Thank you very much for your time. Whew. All right.
Oh, perfect.
I was gonna ask Lynn
You gotta stop.
if I was the Peter that she referenced with respect to the budget, but I know that. What's the answer?
What? Yeah, of course you are.
Okay. I
And I
brought
agree with you.
my father's stopwatch. He used to be the timekeeper for Rotary when he was in Rotary a long time ago. I offered it to Dawn, but she's up with all this technology on the phone. Okay. Common Council that's going to take office on January 1, 2026 is going to have 4 new members. Possibly 2 of them will have been on the council before, when I was mayor, and when Dave Cimpi was on a member of the council. Excuse me. I disagree, about the only thing I disagree with Lynn on is passing the torch. I went to my first Common Council meeting probably in 1961. I spoke at a Common Council meeting in 1970 or 1971 because the chemical plant that was on Fitch Street, not too far from where Gary's Autos was dumping toxic chemicals into the roadside ditch. And I went and said, what's going on? Some of you may remember last March, I think it was, I spoke at the high school when the Common Council met there. So My observation from a long time is the city of Oneida tends to do the same thing over and over with the same results. And part of it is that a lot of times the people who are in office in the city of Oneida don't know the history. They don't know what has or has not worked in the past. But anyhow, I've got 50 years of experience in municipal law and municipal affairs. My last year of law school, 1975-76, I was the one and only law clerk in the Corporation Counsel office of the city of Syracuse. I worked on everything from police shootings to fire code enforcement to writing legislation for the Common Council. And then my first job out of law school, I worked for the village attorney for Sylvan Beach. And the first thing he gave me was the municipal finance law and said, here, figure out what we have to do for the bonding for the Oneida Lake East Shore Municipal Wastewater Treatment Plant. And the other thing was, here's the new open meetings law, figure out what we're supposed to do. So I am an open meetings law nerd. Excuse me. I think I have experience and knowledge of municipal affairs, and I have knowledge of the law. I could read off the 15 different New York State statutes that have law that relate to the city of Oneida. I have no intention of replacing the city attorney if I am elected, but I will know when to ask questions. I will know when things are going, well, I won't necessarily know when everything goes awry, because sometimes it seems an awful lot goes awry at the Common Council. I also had extensive experience as one member of a governing board, and I learned a long time ago, one member of a governing board, one vote on the Common Council doesn't get things done. You have to work with the other members, and I have done that. I've done that I was on the board and the chair of the Oneida Area Daycare Center. I've been on the Oneida Hospital Board for 40 years. 10 of that was a city hospital. I was on the board 11 years. I was president of the board of managers for 10 years. As a city hospital, it was subject to every single one of the laws and regulations and things that apply to the city of Oneida. So I've worked in a very close fashion with all of those rules and regulations and laws. I've been on the Midrock Library Board. I've been on the Boy Scout Council Board. 1 minute, okay. So I think experience and knowledge are very important on this board. 4 of the 7 members are going to be new. Every 2 years, a new Common Council is elected, and it has the opportunity and the challenge of earning the trust and the confidence of the residents of our city. How will we, and by we I mean myself and people whose names I will list below, how will we earn that confidence? We will pursue the true facts about the challenges and the opportunities that face the city. We will comply with the open meetings law. We will deliberate in front of the public in open meetings about the things that we are dealing with. We will always put the best interests of the city of Oneida first, not individual desires and wants, regardless of what kind of strings they can pull, or partisan politics. And partisan politics is a generic term. It embraces everybody. So anyhow, that statement of what we will do to earn your trust has been approved by Mayor Rossi and all of the Republican candidates for the council this year. So how much time did I use? 5:15? 5:30?
5 seconds.
Okay.
Any questions for Mr. Hedgelon?
Yes, John?
Well, you mentioned open meetings and being transparent. And
I didn't mention transparent. I said we will comply with the open meetings law.
Okay. In the past, the city at one time did fund Act 99 so that they could cover the meetings and put them out for the public to see for those that didn't come to meetings. How do you feel about that continuing or going forward?
I think your premise is incorrect. I don't think the city funded it. If my recollection is correct, the city was a pass-through entity where the cable provider pursuant to federal law, there was a certain amount of money that came from the cable provider to the city as part of the franchise agreement, which the city in turn passed on to PAC 99. I don't know I don't know what happened as to why that stopped. I don't know.
Thank you for educating me.
Is that something that I would look into? Yeah, I would look into it. I think PAC 99 has done a tremendous service to this community over the years. So I'm not gonna, I do want to take a step back. There's going to be a lot of work. There's going to be a lot of work for this coming new Common Council. There's going to be time to deal with every single problem. We're going to have to, if elected, if I'm on that council, a lot of thought will have to be done to prioritize what has to be dealt with. And balancing that is what are the resources that are available to address things. So in that context of, I have an open mind about PAC 99. I can't promise what the answer would be. Okay, Rick?
I'm making some guesses and supposition, but I suspect that the cable company doesn't voluntarily give money to do things in most instances. Probably this was something that was negotiated with them as part of their monopoly, if you will, that they have to pay a price to the community. And so can you commit, if you were a member, to extracting that kind of promise once more so that we can have those kind of services?
Okay. First, I said, I gave my understanding of what the history was, where I believe it was federal law, and it might still be federal law. I don't know if it's still federal law, number one. Number two, I made no commit, I can't commit. I'm not going to commit to something about that what the council will do because I am one of 7 members. It is something I'm interested in. I don't know to what extent the franchise agreement was actually negotiable. If it was negotiable, my fear, and if what they have now is negotiable, I didn't negotiate one when I was mayor. It did not come up. Amateurs don't do very well negotiating complicated contracts. And when a large entity comes and says, here's our contract, sign it or, we're not interested. Most people don't really have a good sense of what to do, how to deal with that. I have negotiated contracts. I've never negotiated a contract with a cable provider. So I'm trying to respond without making a promise that I can't keep.
Yeah, I asked for your commitment, not the council's commitment.
And I said previously, that question was...
I was relying on all of that experience and negotiating ability and talent with the law that... It is something that is... I've known Bruce Burke for... couldn't tell you how long. And I know that, PAC 99 seemed to be his baby. I have followed PAC 99. I would like to see PAC 99 be fully funded. Am I going to work on PAC 99 rather than some other issue? I won't commit to that. I don't know what other issues are going to be acute on January 1, 2026. Anybody else got a gotcha question?
I have a question.
Yes,
Okay,
Lynn?
so,
You want to come up so they can see you?
I could. I'm an audience member now. And a constituent. I think, given that across Oneida on social media, we have sort of a morale problem where a lot of people get onto social media and really speak negatively of the city and really tear into people, right? So if elected, do you feel like there's a role for members of the Common Council to be part of fixing that or restoring a positive attitude or improving morale amongst residents?
Thank you for that question, because it lets me read a paragraph or present a paragraph that I didn't have time to get to. Now, in the interest of fair disclosure, I've known Lynn a while. She and my daughter knew each other as younger people. How much time do I have? Okay. While a council person votes on resolutions, local laws, and ordinances before the council, there is an equally important job for council persons to provide information to the public as to what the council is doing, and more importantly, why it is doing it. That is supposed to be, according to Section 100 of the Public Officers Law, which is the first section, a declaration of policy for the Open Meetings Law, that says the deliberations of governing boards are supposed to be done in public. Yes, there is a provision for executive sessions. They are very limited executive sessions, but the whys and the wherefores. Why are you presenting this person for this job? Why are you cutting this budget item? Why are you increasing the police pay, which was done last year? And then why did you vote against funding that? Last year, we had people who voted for a pay increase for the police, and I forget which other union, Mayor Rossi? The fire, police and fire. And thank goodness that the council approved the raises for the police department in particular, because they have replenished the vacancies. They filled a lot of the vacancies that they had. But then later, people voted against raising the tax cap and voted against the budget, which would, those two things would have funded the raises they paid for. And was any explanation offered? Was any rationale offered? No. So my little statement about what myself and the 6 other Republican candidates for the council have agreed to is we will comply with the New York State Open Meetings Law by deliberating, voting, and explaining our votes before the public. Thank you. You're going to have to. Would you yield your time, Ralph? Because I'm out of time. Okay.
We've got a whole list of people to get through. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can ask your questions later.
Great.
I'd like to introduce Ward 2, David Cimpi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I promise I'm not going to be as long as Peter and, I'm sorry, the other person there. So, yeah. Obviously, I'm running for the council person for Ward 2. I've lived in the city for over 35 years. My wife Lori and myself have raised 3 sons here. I'm retired now. I've worked in retail management for over 45 years. I've run multi-million-dollar businesses for TJX, Marshall's Home Goods. I managed over 100 people at a store at times, so I'm very good at managing the business and managing people. My civic duties, I was in the Oneida Little League for over 13 years. I coached, I was on the board member, and I was also the president. I was responsible for a lot of the work down there that we accomplished by raising funds and getting the job done down there. I was also on the council from 2009 to 2013. I was also deputy mayor. I was very involved in the flood of 2013 with the cleanup down there. I backed up Max Smith, our mayor. I took time off of work to be down there every day and get the job done and get it cleaned up there. So currently, I'm on the water board and I'm on the civic service commission for the city right now. As far as what I plan to do, I'm a common sense person. I believe in getting along with people. I believe in communication with people. I believe that, we should have our city at the best, and we should be able to get along and build our city so it's a strong environment. As far as, taxing, we got to build the city up. You got to build the sales tax revenue. You got to encourage businesses. You got to encourage people to come here. And you got to encourage the quality of life in order to have a better city. Any questions? Yes, Brahim.
When you were a councilman previously,
Yes,
for the first time in history, the council overrode the 2% tax cap,
correct,
and you voted in favor of it.
correct.
Did the council pass the 2% tax cap that year?
We did over the objections of the current mayor at that time. And we did that because we wanted to fund the government, we wanted to fund a couple extra police officers for safety of the city.
Would you do that again as a councilman?
I would, because you need that option in case you have to increase taxes. I mean, so. Any other questions? Thank you. I saved you time.
All right, moving on to Ward 3, we're going to go next with Nate Smith.
So, hi everybody. Thanks y'all for making it out, participating in some civics. It's always nice to see in the community. So as you probably know, right, I'm running for Ward 3 of Oneida Common Council. Lived in Oneida my whole life, grew up in Oneida, graduated from Oneida, went away, got a bachelor's degree in SUNY Oswego, came back to Oneida. Now I'm raising a family, 2 daughters, a wife. So I do have a lot invested in the community. I think we all want a place that our kids want to grow up and stay in. That's really why I decided to run for council. I want to make sure that Oneida remains a place where families can put down roots and stay. We know that there are challenges, right? Aging roads, sidewalks that are falling apart, not enough affordable housing, rents going up. It's hard to attract new people when you have these issues. Not to mention, right, how are your taxes being used? Are there budget issues that need to be addressed? I think we can say yes to a lot of those issues, a lot of those things going on. So I believe that local government should be the most responsive form of government. You got a lot more say here. You should be able to, say something, whether it's a pothole, a street light, something's wrong. You should be able to bring it up to your councilman, your mayor, have them listen to you, have them address that issue without it going, by the wayside. So that's just my take on local government, why I got into it. What do I want to do? So responsible spending of your tax dollars, that's one thing. After reviewing the budget and kind of the whole debacle about trying to raise that tax cap, really opened my eyes to what was going on in the community that I grew up in. Infrastructure and safety, right? The streets, the sidewalks, we all drive them, we all walk them. We all see people walking the wrong sides of the streets and riding their bikes on the wrong sides of the streets. Affordable housing, right? We've got to find creative and new ways to be able to build more housing, to be able to offer more options than just a 4-bedroom, single-family house starting at $400,000. And really open communication, right? So if you reach out to somebody, you should have a voice on the other end of that line willing to reach back out to you to address your concerns, answer your whys are you doing this. So as you can probably see, not a career politician, definitely didn't get in to be a career politician. I'm a lifelong neighbor, parent, right, husband. So I just want to bring practical, common sense voice to the council. One that's focused on the issues, not the politics. As I said before, right, local government should be pretty straightforward. We're all here for the same thing, to see our community grow, offer opportunities to our neighbors, to the next generation, to our kids, so they want to stick around, so we can kind of grow that tax base that I think a couple others mentioned. So yeah, the campaign, it's not about me, it's about all of us, right? Coming together to kind of make that happen. So I'm asking you all for your support, for your vote, your ideas, right? How can we make this community a better place? So with that, I yield the rest of my time.
Any questions for Mr. Smith?
Nate, I'll ask you the same question I asked Lynn. What are your constituents or your future constituents or your hope to be constituents, the people in your neighborhood that you're not going to just talk to?
Yep.
What are they telling you that they want the city to do for them?
Well, I've knocked on quite a few doors at this point, so I've gotten a wide range of topics. Two that I hear a lot are street safety, people flying up and down their streets. The other one is affordability. Frankly, I hear that at almost every door. Taxes are going up, what am I seeing, right? My water bill, through the roof, what am I getting out of it? So those are the two main things that I hear a lot. And I think both of them can be addressed through raising that tax base, trying to get more houses, being business friendly, right? Looking at the codes that we have on the books, see where we can, get creative, revise those, modernize those to attract new business, to allow for more housing that's going to, increase your tax base, which hopefully will reduce those costs spread out, right?
Knowing what you now know, would you be in favor of exceeding the 2% tax cap if you had to vote on it?
I would, yes. And a great way to look at that is you've got to get to a certain level, right? It's better to take many small steps than one giant leap all at once to get there. So yes.
And in the last 6 months or so, there have been 12 common council meetings. How many of those meetings have you attended?
I can't say for definite the amount. I want to say 3. I've actually been taking improv classes for the past 6 weeks, so I've missed a couple. They are on Tuesdays. I want to say 3. I try to attend the ones that I can.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Next up is Mr. Brian Bortree, also for Ward 3.
Hi, I'm Brian Bortree. I'm running for Ward 3. I've been in Oneida for 25 years. Recently retired after 34 years with the same company. Had a lot of experience there. I was a manager at veterinary hospitals. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I've been volunteering in this community for a long time at a lot of the things that are going on here. Like, one of the big ones is the Easter egg hunt. I'm always there for the Easter egg hunt to help the kids out. I've gone to, in the last 5 or 6 years, I've gone to every city council meeting, maybe missed 3 or 4. I've served on several committees for 2 different mayors, and I'm currently on the traffic safety committee. And I get around Ward 3 and talk to people, and I've helped several people out in Ward 3 with problems they had, directing them to the right person, helping them get their problem solved. And I think that's one of the big things to being a councilman, is to know your constituents, get out in the public and actually talk to people. There's so many people that don't know who their councilman is. So I make sure I get out there, and I will, even if I am elected, I'm still gonna go out and talk to the people. I'm gonna be walking the neighborhoods. And with city council, the current city council, there's a few problems, of course. But I think if we explain to the people of Oneida why we're doing what we're doing, and have a line of communication open to them, I think the city will be a lot happier. You won't see all that Facebook BS. And if the council stays positive and works together, which I think no matter who gets elected, I think this group of people that are coming in will work together. And I really think you're gonna see a big change in this city. Some of my concerns is, again, public safety. I agree with Nate, we need to get our codes updated. We need to support our police department and our fire department. And pretty much just use common sense when we're at a meeting. I mean, just listen to the people, answer the people when they get up to talk. I think one of my pet peeves is when you get up and talk in front of city council, they stare at you like you're from outer space. And I think even if we tell them, look, I'll call you, give me your number, I will call you tomorrow, or after the meeting, we'll talk. You know, let them know they're heard instead of just sitting there. So they're my main concerns with what's going on in this city. And I think with my experience on the committees, going to the meetings, learning everything I can, I'll be a good candidate for everybody. And I plan on doing the NICOM classes if I do get elected, so I can learn more about legislation and things that are available to the city. Any questions? Brahim?
Would you vote to exceed the 2% tax cap?
Absolutely. We have to support, again, the police and the fire department especially, but we have infrastructure problems that we need to fix as well. The mini brook needs a lot of work. So we need funds for that.
Thank you.
Sir?
Brian, one of the things you hit on was an opportunity at city council meetings for council to engage with the public. And even if the rules of engagement are such that you're not supposed to, as a council person, answer questions directly, you're right, calling afterwards or speaking after the meeting sounds good. But do you see the council time when you're there in the meeting as a time when people could expound more on what we're talking about, especially if it's being filmed, so that people outside of the room can hear it? Because there was a time, and I know you were at those meetings because I sat behind you, when it was moved, seconded, any discussion, none, and we were out of there in 20 minutes, and that included giving somebody a trophy.
Well, I've always said, and I don't care who I tell it to, is it seems like every city council, no matter who's on the city council, it's let's get in, let's get out. We have the agenda, that's it, that's all there is to it. We need to talk to the people. And one thing, and I'm not going to take credit for this, Peter actually mentioned to me that when you have your agendas, instead of having a public comment in the beginning or at the end, have public comment for each agenda in case the public has questions, or in that case, also what we can do so it won't take up 3 or 4 hours. I don't care how long we stay there, but explain each agenda item to the public. This is why we're doing it. Because most people sit there and go, well, I wonder what that's all about. I mean, we have Sandy LaPera. She sends out the agenda and the packet. I don't know if anybody reads those packets because they do explain a lot in there. And if they have questions, then it'd be a great time to discuss it. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, Ward 4, Miss Janet Jones.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out tonight. I wrote a statement that describes what would make me a good candidate for Common Council. If I have the time, I'd like to read it. However, I'm running unopposed, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to make better use of my time. First, I'd like to thank all the candidates for stepping up this year. Serving as an elected official comes with great responsibility and is often thankless. I checked the city budget, and common councilors are getting just under $6,000 a year. I guarantee you none of us are in it for the money. So this year, 10 of the 13 city races are uncontested, and 9 races on the Ward 4 ballot are uncontested as well. This unhealthy cycle can lead to reduced accountability, lower voter engagement, less innovative and policy debate, and the potential for corruption. And I think we can all agree we've seen some of that in our recent history. Since last year's unfortunate series of events, my husband Dan and I decided we wanted to get involved and help get Oneida back on track. I personally ended my 42-year run as a no-party voter and registered with the Republican Party for the sole purpose of voting in local primary elections. Earlier this year, Dan came home from a meeting and said, well, one of us has to run for Ward 4. He jokes that we flipped a coin, but won't say who won the flip. At the time, not a single resident of Ward 4 was interested in running, Republican, Democrat, or no party affiliation. And keep in mind, Oneida's residents are roughly 1/3 no party, 1/3 Democrat, and 1/3 Republican. So please join me in becoming a more informed city resident and learn about how our city government works. I'll be the first to admit I have a lot to learn. As a lifelong learner, I know that learning is growing and I'm up to the task. Getting involved is easier than you might think, and you will meet some amazing people who also want the best for Oneida. Reach out to your elected representatives, attend or watch meetings online, and encourage your neighbors to do the same. I look forward to being more involved in Oneida's progress and plan to make a positive impact. All right, that was my second one. I have time? All right. So this was why I think I could be a good candidate for the city council. I moved to Oneida 33 years ago and never really paid attention to city politics until last year when the train started going off the rails and we all started paying attention. Since then, I've been reading agendas and packets, attending meetings, speaking out, asking questions, and taking notes. And I have a laundry list of concerns that fellow city residents have shared with me. I worked in the private sector for 24 years, the last 17 of which as a property and casualty underwriter for MetLife, managing a $24 million upstate New York portfolio profitably. At 45 years old, I left Met and earned my master's degree in teaching from Lemoyne College. In June, I retired from Oneida High School after 11 years as a math teacher and work-based learning coordinator supporting students with disabilities. For years, I've been active volunteering in the community with a variety of organizations. You'll find my name on the Republican line. However, I remain independent to the core. Historically, I've supported the best idea, the best policy, or the best candidate, regardless of party affiliation. And if you've driven by my house, you know that's true. I conduct myself with common sense. I do my homework so I can make decisions based on facts, figures, and evidence, and am financially conservative. I do not appreciate inefficiency, excessive spending, bloated government, or tax dollars being wasted. Please join me in attending the upcoming budget and city council meetings, learn more about how our city operates, and become part of the solution moving forward. We have great people in Oneida already working for our city's future, but it's really going to take all of us together. And I plan to give my best effort to help Oneida in any way I can. Let's find a way, not an excuse. Thanks. Any questions? Raheem.
You know my question.
Yeah, absolutely. The financial can has been kicked down the road for years, and not raising taxes was not a fiscally responsible response to the increasing needs financially of our community. So yeah, we're kind of stuck with picking up the, I don't know what, tab. So yeah, if we have to, we have to. It's an option. You're welcome. John?
Who won the coin toss?
We're not saying.
I say that
I think you
because
can
as
guess.
a Democrat, I tried to recruit you many times.
I know,
to
I
run,
know.
so.
Well, all right, so it wasn't just this last time. So, but honestly, after what we've been through, it really is a civic responsibility that people who care, who really want to learn and try their best, it's kind of our job to step up. So I'm sort of happy to do it, but I'm doing it and I'm willing to give it my best shot. So, yeah. Any other questions? Oh, thanks. Bill Tom.
not here. Okay, that's fine. All right, we're gonna do supervisors 1 through 3. Do you both want to come up, or do you individually want to come up?
Did you want to do the mayor first, or?
I was working my way up.
Okay, okay. Because we have something to read from the other two, if that's okay?
Oh, that's fine. Sure.
I have it right here.
I don't have it.
Oh, I can read this.
Do you want me to go first?
Oh, so this is supervisor 1, 2, 3. Mary Cavanaugh and Matt Roberts.
I'll speak for myself. I have a little thing I wrote just so I can stay on target. Is that okay with you?
Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Rotary, for hosting us. I'm Mary Cavanaugh, and it's been a privilege to serve you as your county supervisor in Wards 1, 2, and 3. This role has been more than just a job for me. It's my full-time commitment and some of the most rewarding work I've ever done. As your supervisor, I'm engaged. Over the years, I've worked hard to represent our community with dedication and integrity, attending almost every committee meeting, every budget review session, and staying deeply involved in the work that impacts our residents every day. I currently serve as chairwoman of the Health and Human Services Committee, a position I've proudly held for the past 4 years. And this committee oversees Department of Social Services, Public Health, Mental Health, Veterans Affairs, Youth Bureau, as well as Office for the Aging and our animal shelter. I'm also an active member of both Government Operations Committee, where I've served for 8 years, and the Finance, Ways and Means Committee. Serving on these committees helps to understand how every decision impacts the people we serve. As your supervisor, I show up. My service extends well beyond those 4 committees. In my role as chair of Health and Human Services, I also serve on several additional boards, including the Board of Health, the Advisory Committee for the Office for the Aging, the Madison County Youth Bureau Board, and as a liaison to Wanderers Rest Animal Shelter. Those roles connect me to every part of our community, from our younger people to our seniors, and even our animals who depend on us too. I also serve on our County Compliance Committee, ensuring transparency and accountability in our operations at the county. I also represent you beyond our county borders as well. Each year, I attend the New York State Association of Counties, also known as NYSAC, spring and fall conferences, where I serve on the Intergovernmental Affairs Committee, and this allows me to collaborate with leaders from all 62 counties in New York State and to advocate for important initiatives such as the New York's HELPS program, which I've spoken about before. And what this does is it fast tracks hiring for hard to fill county and city positions. I also participate nationally through NACO, the National Association of Counties, and I'm a proud graduate of the Leadership in Government program through Cornell University, a program that I completed as part of the NYSAC involvement. These experiences have broadened my perspective and strengthened my ability to bring innovative, effective ideas home to Madison County. So looking ahead, I'm committed to continuing this momentum, advocating for responsible government, efficient resource use, and programs that truly improve lives. So as your supervisor, I communicate. Anyone who knows me knows that I believe in the power of communication and collaboration. Matt might call me bossy, but I like to connect people. So I consistently share information, programs, grant opportunities, and ideas with our city officials and stay connected with residents. My door and my phone are always open to anyone with any questions or concerns. So in closing, I'm proud of the progress we've made, and I'd be honored to keep that momentum going. Together, we've accomplished so much, and I'm eager to keep building on that progress. Your trust and support mean a lot to me, and with your vote, we can continue moving Madison County and Oneida forward. You can find me on the ballot on the Republican line as well as the United for Oneida line. Also, don't forget to flip that ballot, because on the back are the 2 proposals. I have a copy of a sample ballot if anybody's interested, and wondered if anybody had any questions about that first proposal or the second one. Is anybody aware of that? Has anybody seen that?
I don't know what either is.
So the first one is, I actually did some research. Some of them, it's hard to understand what exactly they're getting at. The first one is a constitutional amendment that would allow limited ski trail and biathlon use on about 300 acres of state land at Mount Van Hoevenberg near Lake Placid. So in return, the state must add at least 2,500 acres of new land to the Adirondack Parks Forest preserved, so overall, we gain more protected land than we use. So a yes vote approves that the exchange and keeps the Olympic training site legally compliant, and a no vote keeps all current protections in place and blocks any new trail work. So even a yes vote still has to go to the legislature, so it's not a complete yes. The second one is, I think, removing the city chamberlain as an elected position. So that might look to the fact, that we're not going to have one. I believe it's so that it can be appointed. Am I correct, Brett?
Correct.
In that one. So not getting rid of it. It's just that it won't be an elected position. It'll be an appointed position. So don't forget to flip that over. And any other questions? Yes.
I can't remember which committee you said it was where you are able to like fast track filling vacancies for the hard to fill positions. I can't remember which one it was.
So that's called the New York Helps Program.
Okay.
And so the civil services kind of ties you up. So by the time you take the test, by the time it gets tested, it gets scored, it's like 6 months later. So that person's probably already moved on.
I just wondered if in like the past 2 years, because we had so many vacancies in Oneida, I wondered if you were involved in any of that through that, because our city planner was on, and all these people.
Yeah,
that
so
were gone.
basically, at the state level, we passed that resolution so that we could add more titles. Like the one that comes to mind is the corrections officers. It was so hard to fill those. So the fact that we can fill those immediately was helpful. I don't have any hand in behind right, just passing that resolution. Any other questions about anything? Okay, thank you. Thanks so much.
I can tell you, as a supervisor, I enjoy having 3 very bossy women serve with me as supervisors. So, my name is Matt Roberts. I'm running for my 4th term as supervisor, so it'll be my 7th and 8th year. I'm a graduate of Oneida High School class of 82, Clarkson class of 86. So I have a bachelor's and master's degree in electrical engineering and an MBA from Syracuse. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sherrill Manufacturing. We bought Oneida Limited's factory, for those of you who don't know, and we celebrated our 20th year earlier this year. So we continue to grow, and as it's very important to be a member of the community, create jobs, it's very important for me. Economic development is the one thing that really is one of my core values and one of the strengths I think I can bring to both the county government and the city. I helped to write the DRI, which we won, and I've been working behind the scenes to help get some of the stuff done. At the county, I am the chair of the Finance, Ways, and Means Committee. So I'm basically helping to get the budget done. We're in the middle of budget season. We did go over the tax cap regime last year. This year, we're working hard to stay within the tax cap. It's a very difficult situation at the county. Those of you who don't know, 90% of our budget is mandated. We have no control over it. So my philosophy on being a public servant is that you are a public servant. You are not self-serving, okay? When we come up to you, we're doing this, every time we make a decision, we think of the people who are constituents that we represent. If you don't do that, if you're worried about having a plaque in front of you, then don't run for office. That's my philosophy, and that would be what I would tell anyone who wants to run for office. I don't feel anybody in this room is of that ilk, so to speak. Everyone here really cares about the city and the community. I'm also a member of the Solid Waste Committee, and at NISAC, I'm a member of the Climate and Energy Committee, which has been very much in the forefront with the CLCPA and a lot of the energy situations that have been going on in the government. I spent last week I was at the Nuclear Summit, the second summit that was up at the Syracuse Marriott, and I'm also a board member of MACNY, which is the Manufacturers Association of Central New York. So I'm very involved in politics outside of and lobbying for jobs in Central New York. So every year we go to Albany and we lobby our representatives there. I know Brian Miller very well. I know Claudia Tenney and John Mannion. I spent a lot of time with them. Chuck Schumer. I've been to Washington, D.C. I'm also a member of the Coalition for a Prosperous America, which is a lobbying group that is focused on manufacturing in the United States, so made in the USA. I hope that I'm doing a good job for you. I know that the last couple of years, without getting into the details, I know myself as well as other members of the community, we lobbied very hard. We spent a lot of time talking to you all about the city manager form of government and how it would be better. And we really ran into a buzzsaw. And unfortunately, the supervisors have an opinion, not a vote. Just so you know that, we can help the city as much as possible, which we're trying to do through shared services and things like that. So we're very excited to run again and represent you at the county for the city of Oneida. I can tell you another thing. If you talk to the county administrator, the department heads, other supervisors around the horseshoe, they'll tell you that the city of Oneida's supervisors are doing a fabulous job for you. Not just myself, but Mary, Brandi, and Michelle. Any questions?
Matt, you mentioned shared services. Can you give just one or two examples of, at least in your opinion, where there's an opportunity for the county and the city to share services to save money? To be more efficient?
One of the big ones that we've been working on, and actually it was the county's issue, not the city's issue, is IT. IT is and cybersecurity. At the county, we have a very good IT department, and cybersecurity is central to that. They send us all these phishing emails. I'm always afraid to open one up because I'm going to get a nasty gram from the director of IT at the county. I really think that's something that we can work with the city. That's really some low-hanging fruit. Beyond that, we've asked them for some planning help, and anything we can do. A lot of the things, our hands are tied, but IT to me is probably the biggest one. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to read Michelle and Brandi's statement. Is that okay? Okay, Michelle Ironside-Kinville and Brandi DuBois are running for the two Madison County Supervisors for Wards 4, 5, and 6. They've served a term on the Common Council for the together they've served a term on the Common Council for Ward. Michelle has served as Ward 4 Councilor and was Deputy Mayor. Brandi is serving her second term, and Michelle her first term for Ward 4, 5, and 6 as Madison County Supervisors. Brandi is a lifelong resident of Oneida, graduating from Oneida High School class of 2001.
I know. Don't think about it too.
Not 1882 like you and I did, right?
Don't think about it.
She received her RN from St. Elizabeth's Nursing School and her BSN from SUNY Canton in 2004. While serving as a county supervisor, she graduated from the County Government Institute at Cornell in 2023. She serves as the co-chair of the Madison County Health and Human Services Committee. She's been employed as a registered nurse at local hospitals and the City of Oneida School District. She built her home and resides on Elm Street, Ward 5, with her husband Mike, her three sons Hunter, Hudson, and Harrison, and daughter Lennon. Michelle is a lifelong resident of Oneida. She's a 2002 graduate of Oneida High School and went on to receive her bachelor's degree from Utica College of Syracuse University. She then received her professional degree from AAMI in funeral service. She currently operates Ironside Funeral Home with her dad, Bruce. She is the current secretary for the NYSFDA. I don't know what that means. I think that's funeral directors. Yeah. It's amazing how those funeral directors party. Every time I call her,
She lost president by 4 votes.
Did she?
Said, yeah.
That's my son's calling me, sorry. She then received her, she is the assistant girls basketball coach for Oneida High School since 2009. She's also on the PTO board of directors for the Oneida Elementary. She resides on Main Street in Ward 4 with her husband, Scott, 2 daughters, Allison and Danielle. The past 2 years as county supervisors, Brandi and Michelle have served on the Health and Human Services Committee, and Michelle serves on the Criminal Justice Committee. With deep roots in the community and a shared vision for progress, they are dedicated to improving local services, supporting small businesses, and working together to make our county stronger, safer, and more connected. no questions for them.
I just wanted to add that they're not here because they are at school functions. Both of them are at school functions.
But they are we're all very involved in the county. We really are. And we're doing it, we're doing it for the constituents.
Thank you for letting us.
I would like to note that Jim Zerba is also running on the conservative line for Supervisor 1, 2, and 3. He emailed me earlier. He had a family issue come up and he couldn't be here tonight. But if you have any questions, comments, anything for him, you can email him at his city email for now. Yeah, hold on. Right here on the little list. So next, I would like to introduce Todd Dexter, who is running for Oneida. Oh, the judge. Rick, I told you relax.
Save the best for last, yeah.
Good evening, folks. Todd Dexter. I am running for Oneida City Court Judge. You can find me on the ballot. I think the way it goes with the governor, it'll be the Democratic Party, then the Republican Party, Conservative Party, and the Working Families Party. So there's a disparate group of parties that have endorsed me or that have won on the primary line, so I'm very honored for that. I'm currently the child support magistrate. I work in Wamsville. I work in the courthouse. I run a courtroom Monday to usually Thursday, sometimes Fridays, from 9 in the morning to 4 o'clock in the evening, where I do child support cases, spousal support cases, paternity cases, not unlike Maury Povich. But I will say that I recently had, due to some difficulties, I had to actually open up the results live and in person, and it's not fun. So that is not good. What I will tell you is that I do everything from the original establishment of child support to the modification, enforcement. I can recommend that someone go to jail, but it has to go to a family court judge then for a confirmation of that. Same thing with spousal support. If you don't want to get divorced, you want a support order, I would be able to initiate that, modify that, enforce that. If you got a divorce, usually those things come to us as well. So I handle, I did 3 trials today. I do, initial appearances. So I've been running a courtroom for 16 years. I've been in that position for that period of time. So I've had numerous experience in terms of trying cases or listening to cases, understanding. And I can tell you that from my experience that it takes a long time, it took me a long time to get comfortable with the position, to be able to find my place as to running a courtroom, having a judicial personality, giving people the opportunity to be heard, and yet still applying the rules and the facts to the law, treating it, making sure attorneys know that it's a real courtroom, that the rules of evidence and procedure are going to be followed. When it comes to running the city of Oneida, it's going to be a completely different experience. I know that I don't know a lot of the things. I was a public defender. I worked in Oneida City Court for 7 years. I represented everything from disorderly conducts on Main Street to everything to the first ever terrorist case in the state of New York after 9/11. They passed state terrorism laws. I defended the person that was charged with that. So I have trial experience. I understand criminal laws, but at the same time, a lot of things have changed since I stopped in 2009 to become the magistrate. There's new laws. There's new, Leandra's law didn't exist back when I did that, which is, if you're driving drunk with a child in the car. So there's so many different things that I'm going to have to get experience with. I had lunch with Judge Masajic yesterday, and just talking with him, there's a difference between, I have a lot more control in my current courtroom, whereas with the criminal cases, you've got the district attorney, you've got the defense attorneys that are going to be involved, and so there's going to be less of my ability to directly influence that. I have to, I'm going to say bear with me in terms of how things go. I'm the one candidate that's running tonight that you shouldn't walk up to and talk to about your problems, because I'll have to recuse from your case if it comes in front of me. So that's a little bit different. How much time do I have?
Got a minute and 17 seconds.
All right, well, I think that covers it. I look forward to this job. It's going to be, I'm ready for a change. I hope I still feel that way 6 months from now. And so thank you. I hope you'll support me in this election, and I look forward to serving all of you.
Any questions? Okay, thanks.
You can ask questions, I don't.
All right, I see he's already coming up. He's ready to go. Next and last, for Mayor Rick Rossi, current Mayor Rick Rossi.
How's everybody doing tonight? All right, let's see what I got there. I'm Rick Rossi. I'm the current mayor of the city of Oneida. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight, and thank you to Rotary and the library for putting this event together. Meet the candidates nights like this. They are about politics, but they're not. It's about people. It's about showing up, talking with your neighbors, and caring about the future of our city. As many of you know, I'm running for re-election as a mayor of the city of Oneida, and this year I'm honored to be running unopposed. Now, while that makes me breathe a little easier, it's not something that I take lightly. I am very serious on the role that I have. I don't see being unopposed an automatic victory. I see that as a responsibility. It means people of Oneida are trusting me to keep doing what's right for our community, to stay transparent, to keep working hard every day to move our city forward. When I look back over the past few years, I'm incredibly proud of what we've been able to accomplish together. We've taken on major projects, secured outside funding, and revitalized areas of our city that were once sitting idle. We've supported our local businesses, made progress on upcoming transformative projects, and strengthened the services that keep our community running smoothly. But if I had to point out one of the most significant and successful things we've done as a city, it would be our transition to a city manager form of government. That change didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of conversations, planning, and patience, and I'll be honest, a few hiccups along the way. Anytime we change the way the government operates, there's going to be some growing pains. But through it all, our goal was simple: to create a more efficient, professional, and accountable system that serves the people of Oneida better. And I truly believe that we accomplished that. It may have taken a year and a half, but I do believe that we have. We're there. We now have a city manager who brings professionalism, experience, and a fresh perspective to the day-to-day operations of City Hall. It's been incredible to see the teamwork develop between the administration and our departments under this new structure of government. There's more coordination, clear communication, and a stronger focus on results. I'm proud of how it turned out. I'm proud of all the people that made it happen, which is all of you guys. I remember standing up here last year and we had signs, city manager, and we went over the resolution 100 times, but it was all for something that actually really benefited the city. I'm proud of how this transition positions Oneida for the future. And it's going to help our community tremendously, not just now, but for years to come. Of course, there's still work to do. There always is. But the foundation that we've started to build and the momentum we have gives me tremendous confidence in where we're headed. We're continuing to invest in our downtown, supporting our neighborhoods, and making Oneida a city that families, businesses, and visitors want to be a part of. As I look ahead to another term, my commitment remains the same: to serve with integrity, to listen, and to focus on what's best for the people of the city. Even though I may be running unopposed, I still want your feedback, I still want your ideas, and yes, even your criticisms. That's how we grow, by working together honestly and respectfully toward a common goal. It's been an honor to serve as your mayor, and I'm grateful for the trust you placed in me. I'm excited for what's ahead, and together, I believe we've proven when a community comes together, there's nothing we can't accomplish. Thank you, Oneida. Any questions?
Question.
Absolutely.
Comment. I just want to say that I really appreciate that you have wrangled some really bad behavior by some council members, and seeing you stand up in council sessions and set boundaries and set limits, I really appreciate that, because that is not easy to balance out, like, still coming across as like professional and telling people where they need to go.
Well,
Right? Like, and you've done a really good job at that.
I appreciate that. And for me, honestly, there's a lot of times I go home and don't know if that, some of the things I do are the, the right thing to do, but I do appreciate that. And I try, that's what we're all here for,
Right, can you, I'm going to assume that you support the second resolution that Mary Cavanaugh mentioned. Can you give us maybe just one paragraph as to why we should vote?
That was my question too.
Perfect, yeah, and I would like to hit on that, actually. That's another huge resolution for us, to be quite honest with you. We tried the year prior to the election last year to get this passed. This is something that, in our history, our city chamberlain position, we had some controversy with. We've lost $1 million through that department. There's not a lot of checks and balances with that position, being an elected position. There's not really that many city chamberlains that are elected in New York State anymore. Two, Mary says. I knew there was only a handful.
Yep.
So it's kind of it's an outdated form of government that we're trying to now, and to be honest with you, as an elected official, I only have to work 1 day a year. So that doesn't work with a city chamberlain. That has to be there every day collecting, these tax payments and, everything else, water bill, everything. So it's a way for us to be able to have a little more control over the position and have the position be more beneficial for the city. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's going to help everybody.
And I think we're gonna have to educate voters, because it says to eliminate the elected positions. It doesn't say and make it,
Right. No one's
appointed,
losing a
so-
job with this. We're
but it
just trying to
doesn't
make
show,
more
it
checks and
doesn't
balances.
state that,
Right,
that
right.
it's going to be appointed. So I think we need to educate voters that it's still gonna be there,
Yes,
just in a different format, because it got
100%.
voted down last time.
it did,
So-
yeah.
So it's gonna be a civil service position, and it's
So,
gonna
yeah.
be the salary the same, or no?
So I don't know completely about salaries. I know that, we've talked about that, but civil service will be under a job title with the salary range that people figure out.
So tell all your friends and neighbors that it's not going away, but to vote.
Absolutely.
They voted yes to eliminate it, and it will still be there.
And that's,
Rather than appointed.
it's a big deal because there's been a lot of, back and forth. But the position has been pretty fluid this year, and trying to appoint somebody, that's kind of my job for that position, is very hard. And to get somebody that's going to be there every day and to understand the position. So I believe it'll be better off for everybody if and when hopefully this passes and we can kind of move on from the elected position there.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? Mr. Kohler?
One moment. Rick, first of all, thank you for your service. I understand that public service is a challenge, and really for you, this has been an unusually hard 18 months. I've been working to be the informed citizen that Janet asked us all to be for 18 months now because of this mess. And I was shocked, honestly, to hear Mr. Hedgelon say that you've signed a pledge to explain your votes in the next term. I've shown up at least a half a dozen meetings, and at the beginning said, would you guys please explain what you're doing here and why? I'd asked all the counselors and you. And most of the time, everybody is silent, A or nay, and we're done. I did that again last week, and I didn't get an answer. Hopefully, you'll do better. Maybe you can explain any of the half a dozen times I've asked in the last 18 months why we did things when you were silent.
100%. Yeah, we've actually had a lot of craziness with the public in our council meetings. And going back and forth with everybody on every single agenda item has become an issue. With the new council and the way things are going, hopefully maybe we can combat that a little bit. But every agenda item with the public comment, I don't know if that's, I know it's not your question, but.
You did that before, though.
It worked before.
Well, I'm not saying it didn't, I just don't know how
Yeah, to be clear, I'm not asking you to
I
respond to the
100%.
public.
I'm telling you that we've
Right.
had trouble with public back and forth, and that's kind of why we don't continually add on. Your 3 minutes. If we go back and forth with somebody, sometimes it takes 10 minutes to go back and forth
Sure.
with a single person.
I'm not
So-
asking you to do that. I'm asking you to do what Peter says you've agreed to do in the next term. That is, explain your votes and your thinking for what's going on before the vote. Not a public back and forth is what happening now, right? And, you know, you and the entire Common Council routinely, yay, 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 nay, next item. Even though you're explicitly asked. So I hope that, first of all, congratulations on your reelection, and that you will stick to that in the next term. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Rick, is it fair, just along those same lines, is it fair to say, or is it a true statement that every common council, every new common council gets an opportunity to set the rules of
100%.
how the meetings are conducted? So you have 1 out of 7 votes, right, as to what those rules would be. So the next common council would get an opportunity to set the rules of what the meetings would look like.
So technically, I actually run the meeting, so they
Attorney
are
in the
actually, yeah. So no, but absolutely, council does have 100% to say. I'm not a dictator. I mean, that's Mr. Hedgelon.
I have a clarification, not a question.
Please.
The Common Council as a whole does establish its procedures. That's in the charter.
And we vote on them at the beginning of the year, correct?
Okay. But it does take the mayor runs the meetings within the range of those things.
Of those, right, yeah. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Actually, I have a question about that. So like, could the council vote, like, we're not gonna answer people's questions? Is that the kind of flow we're talking about, or just about like, you know, like, this happens and this happens and this happens? Like, is that what happens? Like, did the council make a decision, like, we're not gonna interact with?
Right, 100%. Because again, it becomes a big it becomes a big back and forth with every single person that comes up for public comment. If we answered every single question at public comment, which we don't have everything in front of us to answer all these questions, right? So, I mean, to be able to just get bombarded and have to get into arguments or conversations back and forth when we don't have the supplies we need to actually address them, doesn't make any sense.
And Rick, you could do that during off hours, right?
100%.
During the day.
Absolutely. So. Mr. Hedgelon.
The legislative declaration that is the first section of the Open Meetings Law says it is essential for the maintenance of the democratic society that the public business be performed in an open and public manner, and that the citizens of the state be fully aware of and able to observe the performance of public officials and attend and listen to the deliberations and decisions that go into listen to the deliberations and the decisions that go into making a public policy. The people must be able to remain informed if they are to retain control over those who are their public servants. It is the only climate under which the common weal will prosper and enable the governmental process to operate for the benefit of those who created it. The council, the members of any governing board are not required to answer questions. They may, if they may. I'll tell you, the legal counsel will recommend that they not engage in discussion in the meetings for fear that some common councilor or member of the board of supervisors or member of the assembly will say something that can be used in court against the entity. But you have to balance that against explaining, I mean, suppose that there's the council members, the council is supposed to deliberate in public. They are supposed to go back and forth, ask each other questions, explain why I'm voting for this or against that. And other council members, and using the council as an example, have every right to say to a fellow council person, please explain why this or that is in the best interest of the city or not. Those kinds of discussions should be before the public. So my question, you think things will be better next year?
I'm praying things will be better.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you.
I think we got everybody. Again, thank you so much for coming out. To everybody that's running, thank you so much. Personally, I'm so excited today. Personal, excited. So yeah, the library closes at 7:45. If you have any questions, you want to mingle, you're more than welcome. But yeah, thank you so much for coming and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, Ariel. Thanks, Ariel. It's great. Appreciate well done. Your personal.